Hi, it's Adam from realitymanifestation.com, and in this video I'm going to be going through how to reprogram the subconscious mind with the power of rewarding yourself. So now, getting straight into it, our mind's two prime motives are to either help us avoid pain or to gain pleasure, with avoiding pain being the strongest motivator out of the two, as it's linked to our survival. If you wanted to create any real changes within your life, you need to associate pain from what it is you want to move away from. So whether you want to change a belief, change a habit or behavior, because until your mind associates pain to whatever it is that's having a disempowering impact on you, your mind could potentially keep pulling you towards it, especially if it's meeting some of your needs, even if it's overall having a destructive impact on your life, which I've already done videos on, which goes through how to associate pain to an area in your life you want to change. I'll leave in the description box down below. But what I want to focus more on this video is how to associate pleasure towards moving towards something, because pain is only a temporary motivator. Pain only makes a shift and change in someone's behavior for the short term. Even though it's vital and very important to utilize pain to our advantage to create shifts within ourselves, especially if we're trying to break away from a long-held destructive habit, real lasting changes occur when someone associates pain from what they want to move away from, but then they also need to replace it with something more empowering that has a better overall impact on their life. So to give you an example, someone could break the habit of smoking or something similar, but if they not replaced it with a positive, more empowering habit, they could replace it with another destructive habit, such as overeating. To give you an example of how pain is only a temporary motivator, but associating pleasure towards something is where long-lasting change comes from. Imagine someone who has been wanting to lose weight for several years, and they've been thinking about going and joining a gym, but they always put it off. But then one day they see themselves in the mirror, or someone says something that causes a lot of pain within them associated to their weight, and it causes them to go and join the gym and to start exercising. Now, initially, that pain they associated to wanting to lose weight is what's causing them to go, but until they find a reason in which they gain some form of pleasure from going to the gym, it won't last. So this is why a lot of the time people go in the short term, but they don't stay persistent with it. But then if they start seeing progress, they start enjoying the feeling they get from exercising, this is when it starts to become a lasting change. To give you another example, it's not a perfect example, but it's the only other one I could think of from the top of my head. Imagine a teenage boy, and a lot of you mothers out there can probably relate to this one, is you're trying to tell your teenage son to tidy their room, and the majority of them just are refusing to do it, or they only do it after you basically threaten to punish them, or you have a go at them, or something along those lines. And they tidy the room for a period of time until you don't threaten them or keep demanding they tidy the room, and then they slip back and start leaving the room a mess again, until one day they start having a lady friend come by, and then all of a sudden the room is miraculously cleaned more often, without you even asking them to. Now, the reason this isn't an ideal example, as you could say, as soon as the girlfriend or whoever stops coming by, they'd revert back to no longer tidying the room, which is true in this example. However, let's just say that she kept coming round permanently, just for an example, then this illustrates about how the pain of being told always had to occur for a short-term motivator, but as soon as they had something that the boy associated pleasure to, it motivated him to make it a lasting change, to keep tidying the room. But just to go over it again in case these examples aren't very clear, is that pain will get someone to shift a behaviour for the short term, but only associating pleasure, basically enjoying going towards a new form of behaviour, is where real lasting change occurs. So in order to reprogram your subconscious mind, it's first useful to get yourself to associate pain to something, which again, I've done videos that I've left in the description box down below. And then you want to associate pleasure to the new behaviour you're going towards. So using a weight loss example again, so once you've associated pain to not losing weight, if you're struggling with staying persistent with the gym, it's finding ways in which it can meet your needs so you enjoy it. So if you can find an exercise class you enjoy, and if you can find some way of rewarding yourself whilst you've exercised or just immediately after. And no, it doesn't have to be chocolate, ladies. This is one of the reasons why people find personal trainers useful, because when they're getting encouraged and rewarded, it's encouraging the behaviour to keep exercising, even when the trainer's not there with them. But you can also reward yourself, and it's important it's something you associate a reward or pleasure to. So to give a few examples, if you set yourself a target of going to the gym X amount of times per week, and you've achieved that and there's been a film you've wanted to watch for a long time, you immediately book yourself with someone or whoever to go watch that film. After you've hit the target, you think of reasons why within yourself you can be proud of yourself, or feel grateful, or feel excited. The best form of rewards you can give yourself are internal rather than external, as for one, it's easier and cheaper, and two, it's less likely to have a negative impact, such as if you're rewarding yourself with food. Let's say you've wanted to start a new business, and every time you've done some work or something towards it, you give yourself some kind of reward in that way. But ideally, if you were to associate pleasure and enjoyed every time you worked on that business, so one way you can do this is by changing your beliefs. How you perceive the work that you're doing will determine whether it causes you pain or pleasure. This will cause you to keep wanting to continue working on the business without having to rely on rewarding yourself with food or some kind of movie tickets or anything external like that. It's also very important to note, when rewarding yourself, it wants to be during or immediately after the activity you're wanting to condition yourself to continue doing, to associate pleasure to. Otherwise, your subconscious mind and your nervous system is highly unlikely to associate pleasure to that activity, because our subconscious mind's always scanning all around us whether something will lead to pain or lead to pleasure. And whenever we have a strong emotionally charged experience, our mind goes to determine what's unique about that situation, whether it's true or not. And if you keep having pleasurable experiences whilst doing an activity you want to do more of, your mind will start to associate pleasure to that activity and will naturally pull you towards doing it. So to summarize, whenever you want to make a lasting change with any area within your life, you want to first associate pain to the current activity behavior that you want to change, and then associate pleasure towards more empowering alternatives or replacements, such as exercising more. You can use external rewards such as food, films. You're going to set yourself to be able to watch a TV series, buy yourself something, have someone compliment or encourage you. But the best kind of rewards are what you give yourself internally, or find a way through your belief system and your perception to naturally associate pleasure whilst you're doing that activity. And it's also important that you're associating pleasure to the activity whilst it's being carried out. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, if you could like the video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Also share this video with anyone who you think will find it useful, and also comment down below on a habit or behaviour you're going to change and what you're going to replace it with by conditioning yourself with rewarding yourself. I hope you found this video useful, and I shall see you soon.